I've got Nicole with me today that has been working on this chair for a very long time. She's a physiotherapist with great knowledge about the function of the pelvic and how to treat pelvic dysfunctions using the pelvic power. A lot of this is as much about getting the tight pelvic floor in some individuals to relax at the rest time rather than being contracted all the time and make everything lock up.
Yes,
Is that a correct understanding?
absolutely. And this comes from my experience with women and men who are doing weightlifting. So with the weightlifting, what we often see, if people are doing a lot of repetitive weightlifting, so maybe they're doing, sets of 100 of a particular exercise, what we sometimes see is that it's been normalised for people to have incontinence. You may go to some of these big events and it's just normal that when you're lifting heavy weight that you're having leakage. This is not normal, and I think it's so important for people who are regularly doing that to understand that we should not be going to competitions and thinking that it's acceptable that we're lifting weight and having incontinence. It's not normal. Now, what's often happening with them is they're not too weak. If anything, they are too strong. And if we think about incontinence, urinary incontinence, we've kind of got two parts to that. We've got the sensory receptors that are going up to the brain from the bladder, that is from the actual bladder itself. And then we've got the sling, the pelvic sling underneath. And this is the stress incontinence. So I cough or I sneeze, I get a little bit of leakage. And what we're trying to do is we're affecting with the high frequencies, we're affecting that signal going up to the brain. And then with the strengthening ones, we're affecting that sort of leakage. So what we're trying to do is strengthen both, relax this one a little bit so that the bladder can hold more and it has better proprioception about how much fluid that it's holding. And then we're also trying to strengthen so that people can jump on a trampoline with their kids or, go down and lift their grandchildren, and they're not constantly thinking, can I trust my pelvic floor? Is this going to be embarrassing for me? Because it's the difference between being able to be the grandparent you want and the grandparent you can't. Because as a mum, I want to be jumping on a trampoline with my kids. I don't want to be losing mum points because I'm too scared to get on a trampoline, just in case I lose control of my bladder. Nobody deserves that. It's not normal. It drives me nuts with adverts for pads. Oh yes, just have your pads and you can have freedom. No, we shouldn't be using pads. We don't need to have pads. We need to be thinking about how do we normalise the pelvic floor and its function so that we don't need to have pads.